Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Keith. This is all things Tenerife and more. As you can see, I have my glasses on me this time so I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, we're still in Dublin, and we're going to be in Dublin for a while. I'm going to do a few vlogs out of Dublin City. So, at the moment, I'm going to bring you down towards one of the most beautiful statues and one of the most haunting statues you'll ever see, I think, anywhere. And it tells such an amazing story. Let me turn you around. This is the River Liffey. This is the boardwalk that runs along the River Liffey. Again, would I recommend tourists walk along the boardwalk? No, I wouldn't. Just not safe. Simple as, black and white. I can't pull any punches on this one. I wouldn't. It is lovely, but you can see just as much from this side of it as you can from the other side. You can see there across that bridge another a walking tour of Dublin City. There's a lot of them. If you want a little bit of history of Dublin and to see more of it than you do in a cab or whatever, they're actually a nice way to get around the city. Clifton Court, Laughter Lounge, great spot if you're looking for, obviously, a comedy club. We don't have a huge amount of comedy clubs in the city, about 5 or 6 of them, but you will find quite a good selection of them across the city. So, where am I bringing you? I'm bringing you down to, and again, Lewis, as you can see, crosses the city at various points, and it's a very good, very safe way, very cheap way of getting around the city. Cabs are relatively expensive in Dublin City, so, and make sure if you are, put the meter on. Now, that bridge you see is also, again, another way of getting around Dublin. The Dart, which is Dublin Area Rapid Transport, it's a train service that goes from north to the south side, along the front, along the coast of the city of Dublin. So you can see some of the seaside resorts, which are quite a few along. If you head out towards Bray, Greystones, and you've got Howth, Portmarnock at that direction, the opposite direction. And again, I'll do some of those for you on another vlog. As you can hear, Dublin City is always busy. Now, the one thing I'm noticing as I walk along here, there's not a huge amount. This isn't a particularly touristic area in Dublin City. Let this police or ambulance pass us. This is a bicycle tour. Again, there's quite a few of those throughout the city. Now, if you're looking for anything to do, so obviously Tenerife, which is where I do most of my other vlogs, I would always recommend the ABC app for anything you want to do in Tenerife. In Dublin or in Ireland, Bord Fáilte. So if you Google Bord Fáilte is the tourist board for Ireland. So anything you need to know is in Bord Fáilte. Now, the reason I'm bringing you down to show you this statue is it depicts a period in time in Irish history that, so I suppose it created the Ireland that we have now, and it answered so many questions to why are there so many Irish people abroad. There are actually more Irish people living abroad than live in Ireland, and one of the reasons being, and the main reason being, during the famine, which was in 1845. So between 1845 and 1852, Ireland suffered what historically or historians call the Great Famine. It wasn't a famine. And again, I'm not making a political statement when I say this. It wasn't a famine. This here is the old customs house. So this was built by the British and would have been the original custom house, where the docks, the ports, boats would have come up as far as here. They would have offloaded, they would have paid their taxes, and they would have distributed the produce throughout the country. That's where you paid your taxes. That was the original custom house. But, so back to our story. So, the Great Famine. Yeah, let's call it what it was. It was genocide, it wasn't famine. A famine is where there is no food, there's nothing to eat. It's complete failure of every crop that we had. That's not what happened in Ireland back in that period. So We had the British landlords who took over Ireland. They took our land off us and we paid them rent. When the potato crop failed, which was the only food that we actually had, was potatoes, and it was only because we had a small piece of land that we could live off, that crop failed. So when that failed, we had nothing to eat. We had what we grew in the fields, but what we grew in the fields was rent for our landlord. So you can understand why Irish people get a little bit annoyed when they hear it being referred to as a famine. It wasn't. We had lots of other food, and it was exported by the boatload out of Ireland over to the United Kingdom and to the Empire by the British. So I suppose between 1845 and 1852, when the famine finally ended, we lost, I'd say, close to 3 million people. Just over a million people died, and just over 1.8 million people migrated out of Ireland to America and England. We didn't just migrate. Now, people ask often, how did people afford to do it? They didn't. They couldn't afford to do it. So what a lot of Irish people did, they sold themselves into slavery. They sold themselves into what's called indentured slavery. So in order for passage to either America or the UK, they would work for somebody to pay off that debt, who would pay the price for them to get to the final destination. And the path we've just walked, the route that we're taking, is actually the route that these people would have taken, because the famine ships left from along this area. And in fact, there's a replica of one of the famine ships down here. So this path that we're walking now would have been passed by people during the famine to get to the ship to take them out of Ireland. As you can see, a huge amount of tourists, because this is such an iconic statue that these people would have been down here looking at it. They've probably gone down as far as the boat itself. Now, I'm going to bring you down first to show you the boat that would have taken the people out of Ireland. I'm going to finish with the statue. And the reason I want to finish with the statue is I think the statue can tell a story that I can't. Actually, no, I'm going to show you the statue. I started to show you the statue first, because this, you can actually see the boat, see the rigged boat up ahead. That's a replica of one of the coffin ships that were actually sending people out of here. So, as you can see, the tourist small tour, we'll try not to disturb these. This is the statue, and I think it can tell a better story than I can. So, I'm just going to let you see it. Now, I think that can tell a better story than I can. And this is the path that people would have taken when they were heading down towards the famine ships. Now, those little shoes that you saw at the end, the little bronze shoes, there's a pathway that leads from along the canals of Ireland. There's canals that run right up the whole length and breadth of Ireland. And along those canals, you'll find every couple of kilometres, you'll see a pair of those little bronze shoes. Now, whether you're Irish or whether you're a tourist and you see that, what you're looking at is a remembrance of the famine. because what they did was they cast those little shoes and put them along as a memory of the children that would have died while people were walking. Because we're talking about people walking from the west of Ireland. They didn't have boats, didn't have any way of getting here. They had no money. Whatever they had was just a meagre way of getting to Ireland or get out of Ireland. So every penny would have counted. So they would have walked for days, and people would have died along the way. So those little bronze shoes that you saw, that was in memory of those children that died during the famine before they even left the country. Now, if you want to learn more about it and you're in Dublin, this is the place to do it. The Epic Centre has a fantastic exhibition. In fact, I think it's one exhibition of the year in Europe several times, and well worth a look. Absolutely well worth a look. There's a few people they got lost after St. Patrick's Day. This is another good way of seeing Dublin from the river. Sightseeing on the Liffey. It'll take you from here up as far as Guinness's and back down again. Definitely worth doing. I've never done it actually before. I must actually have a look. I've never actually done it. I don't know what the prices are, but I'll find out for you. Might even take a trip on it ourselves. Okay. Okay, I'm going to leave you here. So, that was a brief little look into Irish history. Ireland's fascinating, and Irish history is absolutely fascinating. And you can't do tours or walks through Dublin, as I said, without seeing some sort of history of Ireland. So hopefully you'll enjoy this, and hopefully you're going to enjoy these trips. We are going to do some other ones where I'll actually bring you into where the pubs and clubs are. Maybe next. Actually, I think it could be next. So if you like what you see, hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care.